Welcome back to Starship Talk AM, your source for all the news, all the tips and tricks.
That's right. We're just a couple of guys who love working at the local garage and on our starships, and we're here to give you the hot takes on how to get the most out of your Class 2 hyperdrive unit.
Getting old Betsy going again.
That's right. First, we want to do a big shout out to Matt Way from the Carillion sector. He has a question for us. What's the best way for getting Minox off of your starship?
Wookiees. Get your Wookiee to do it.
These are the kinds of questions that we'll be answering today on Starship Talk.
I don't know enough about cars to even pretend that I'm talking about cars. Sorry.
Well, just spaceships. You just gotta make up spaceship names.
Oh, goodness.
You gotta readjust your stabilizers.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, it's your decoupulating modular on your hyper unit over here is acting up.
Yeah, well, you take your spanner and you gotta crank that motivator with it just once or twice. Watch out for asteroids when you're going through that Roon system. I tell you guys,
that's right.
All those muffles floating around, getting into the exhaust system. So hello, listeners. Welcome to Star Wars Total Rewatch. I'm glad you guys tuned into this station instead of whatever might be playing on nearby radio channels here. We are today talking about the 10th episode of Star Wars Droids.
Tale of the Roon Comets, which aired November 9th, 1985.
Still going through Star Wars Droids.
It's still 1985.
I didn't know 1985 went for so long.
So many weeks, so many Saturdays.
10 episodes feels longer when you watch them than when you just see on paper that
There were 10.
there were, what, 13? 13 episodes sounds like
Short run.
a really short run, like it barely lasted, but I mean,
There's a lot
that's...
that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're doing a podcast about every one of them.
Yeah.
And 10 episodes of, 22-minute series is like 3.6 hours. So.
Yeah, that's still the length of a couple short movies, one long movie. This episode, the story was by Ben Burt, who's like the sound effects guy for the Star Wars franchise. Yeah.
So they would just get random people who worked on the Star Wars, like, hey, you want to write an episode of the TV show?
I don't know how it came about, but he must have had a good idea. Oh, Ben Burt, he's just done sound stuff in all kinds of movies, but he had, looks like he had a lot to do with getting the Wilhelm scream getting put into everything.
Right.
He's a true hero.
I think he's still working on Star Wars. Like, he's just is the sound expert guy.
The Star Wars guy.
I think so, if I'm not mistaken.
I was going to talk about this. I started watching the Dark Crystal show on Netflix. It's kind of relevant to Star Wars. I got into it because of Star Wars.
There you go.
When we were watching the Ewok movies.
Well, and did the Dark Crystal come out in 85? Was it 84? Somewhere in there.
I think I normally would have zero interest in it, but I was curious because we were talking about puppets and stuff from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But those are like 40-minute episodes, and there's like 12 of them or something. And I was like, that's a lot.
That's a lot of puppeteering.
That's a lot of Dark Crystal. Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, sure. It's all still like Jim Henson Company, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's actually like really impressive.
Yeah.
So what we need now is Droids to be remade
In puppets.
Actually, well, you know what? Sure.
I would be all over that.
Why not? Go for it.
Okay. Tale of the Roon Comet.
Yes.
So this is the one where we wrapped up a story arc last time. So the droids in this episode get a new master, Mungo Baobab, and they go to the Roon system to look for treasure. And they run into some pirates, not Kybo Ren, but some other pirates. But the Empire is also there. So everybody's there trying to get treasure, and hijinks ensue.
Yeah. They all want the Rune diamonds.
The Rune stones.
Rune stones. Right.
Which is a thing, but spelled differently.
I mean, they just look like diamonds.
Isn't a runestone like something the Vikings carved stuff on?
This is ROON.
Completely different.
Precisely.
And it's found in space.
Totally different.
That's basically what happens in the episode. But what are your thoughts? Let's talk.
I mean, I want to talk about this character, Mungo. Who is this guy?
I don't know.
Because We have no idea. They
Frame of
don't
reference.
show how he comes into possession of the droids in any way.
Yep.
He just appears.
This feels like it should really be the second episode of a new story arc.
They made a movie-length episode like after the fact. That's a prequel to this arc,
Which we have not watched yet because it aired like the following summer.
Yep.
apparently. That's confusing.
So I don't know if that's something that they had made and like delayed
Don't know.
airing it.
I looked at it a little bit just because I was confused.
So apparently the Great Heap, which is their hour-long special, was originally set for release on December 13th, 1985, but was rescheduled for June 7th, 1986. And it received the lowest ratings for that week, as well as the lowest ratings of a TV special for that season.
Okay.
Okay.
So Mungo Baobab though,
Mungo.
he's a guy. I don't know.
I think he's kind of a cool guy.
He has a beard, so
I
that's
don't-
something.
It's true.
Yeah. He's better than
Yeah, he was definitely better than the last main guy. He seems like a much older man, but he obviously doesn't really have as much of a personality as our boy Thal Jobin.
As ya boy, Thal Jobin.
Yeah, you're right. He looks older, but he also talks about how he's trying to get this money to save his father's business.
Yeah.
A merchant.
Merchant fleet.
He's the heir of the famous Baobab merchant fleet,
Okay.
which we also do not see.
No, just vaguely referred to. But the Empire knows who he is.
Oh, right.
They're like, these Baobab guys
Yeah.
keep getting in
it's
our way.
Admiral Screed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can we
It's a
talk about
character,
that?
yeah.
Admiral Screed is leading the Imperial forces in this episode, and we only saw him like for a second in an earlier episode, right? He was at that speeder race.
Yeah.
I didn't know he
Well-
was gonna be a character, but he's
And that was apparently his Star Destroyer that the pirates, Kaibo Ren, takes over.
oh yeah,
What was it called?
The Demolisher.
Demolisher.
oh yeah. Okay, so I guess he's been sort of in the background for this whole series. Now he's front and center as the bad guy. He's kind of cool.
He's intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has like a cyborg eye or something.
Like, I don't know what happened to this guy. He got really messed up.
His first name is Terranold.
There you
Terranold.
go.
Not mentioned in the episode, but
But yeah, no, this
That's a good name.
so this was the first Droids one that actually featured like the Galactic Empire. The other ones were just like backwater gangs and whatnots, but now here there's like the actual Empire.
Yeah. It starts out and there's actually stormtroopers chasing them.
That's right. And they have their little laser staffs.
Right? Classic stormtrooper laser
Well, you
staffs.
can't have guns on a children's cartoon, you know?
what they totally have had.
I
guns
wonder
on the
though.
show.
Well, no, they always had those terrible looking remote
I think
control
that's probably the main
lasers.
reason why they had those, was because they were like, you can't show that sort of thing.
Yeah, it makes sense now.
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Just rules about what can and can't be shown in kids programming.
Yeah. And then I think that's also the reason why as they're trying to make their escape, there's this nice long shot of them putting on their seatbelts and R2-D2 hanging on before they finally take off.
They definitely zoom in on the seatbelts buckling up. The stormtroopers still can't hit anything with their lasers.
So Mungo buys a star map, astrogation coordinates for the Roon system.
It looks like a coin,
Yeah.
but then does he put it in R2D2? Mm-hmm. So it's like the message that Princess Leia sends.
Yeah.
Puts a little floppy disk in his disk drive.
But they go to the archives. Again, prequels are
Yeah.
stealing from this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's not the Jedi archives, but it is an archives.
And also the way that R2 displays a star map looks a lot like in the sequels.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron, you gotta talk about R2 dancing.
Oh, we're at the very beginning. That's right.
At the beginning, they're like at a restaurant just for the opening scene, or
It's a cantina.
A cantina.
There's no such thing as restaurant.
Yeah, right. First
yeah.
off, R2 is playing a jukebox, which is in the corner, because I don't know why. And then music starts playing, and R2 starts dancing, and he's literally doing the moonwalk
Breakdancing.
and breakdancing.
Great.
Pretty sure there's just like a full-on 30-second shot of R2 just doing these crazy dance moves.
Let's just make a 10-hour loop of this and put
But
that up
no.
on our YouTube.
He drags a foot though, like he's totally doing the moonwalk.
Yeah. Because this is 1985.
Sure.
This is the peak of the popularity for Walnut, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I think
before
you're
my
probably
time.
Right. And C-3PO says how much he hates space travel, which is great. Because, like, doesn't he always?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's great.
Consistent personality
Right, I
traits.
know.
Yeah.
They got his character right.
You know,
I think Anthony Daniels actually, like, rewrote some of the lines or something to make it more authentic to C-3PO. Because he knew that character the best.
okay. I believe that.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think that they definitely got his character right in this show. That's probably the reason why.
There's a scene in this episode later toward the end. The bad guys are planning to reprogram C-3PO,
Right.
and they I mean they don't obviously, but they're planning to, and they tell him, well, you're gonna need a new name for when you're reprogrammed
For
or
your
something.
new personality.
Yeah, and he says something like, well, I've always been partial to the name Anthony.
Right.
Yep.
Like, in another life, I'd be a British man on Earth.
Doing the voice of a robot. This is science fiction movies.
So, I mean, whatever that means, but
It's
was
a little
funny.
joke.
Yeah.
Little reference. So they're going to the Roon system, but there apparently are already people there. He acts as if it's like this undiscovered system.
Yeah.
But then we see the Imperials talking to a guy who is already there and has a whole operation set up.
Yeah, but it's like under the radar. So, like,
guess.
as far as our heroes know, nobody's out here.
Right.
But they totally are. They're totally living inside the giant whale-shaped spaceship.
Right. But these pirates are
comes
making a deal with the Imperials, and then at the same time, Mungo,
Yeah, Mungo.
then they just show up. So that's where the confusion happens. Is they think he was sent there by the Empire, an emissary of the Empire is what they call him.
Yeah, because he totally looks like an Imperial officer.
Right. You know, it's just this one guy in a ship with a couple of droids.
Who knows?
They don't know. Right.
They don't know. So is it the area of the Roon system that they're in? Like this fog kind of covered?
They say it's like
place?
a fog. Like here, it's like a big cloud or something.
It's the cloak of Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like a nebula is my impression of it. But
Sith.
the name is the Cloak of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really explain what the name means. That's just what it's called. But I
Yeah.
think that's pretty interesting.
There's no like implication that means, you know, evil opponents of the Jedi or whatever. I mean, it doesn't even mean anything. It's just what it's called.
But Sith, like, there's no mistaking.
No, the name, right. But what I'm wondering is, was Sith even like a word yet? Like, did it mean anything yet? Or was it just a word that somebody liked, and that's another element that then they
for
stole
Star
from the Droids series and reworked it to mean something else in the prequels?
Right.
Because they never used that word in the original movies.
I couldn't remember if they did or not. I couldn't remember of anything of them saying it
Not that I-
specifically, but
In
maybe.
the original trilogy, do they ever mention Sith? I don't think so.
I guess we're just gonna have to go back and rewatch them.
Yeah, hold on real quick, everybody, while I rewatch all three of the original Star Wars
we'll
movies.
get it on the second round through.
The Wookiee page says that during the new Sith Wars, it was the core of the new Sith Empire. It was rumored that the Sith continued to exist and rebuild within the cloak.
Oh.
It was also referenced in X-Wing Rogue Squadron, used as an expletive.
What?
I don't know. That's just what it says.
I would
wanna
be
find that
curious
line.
to know how that works.
Very curious.
But, okay. Wow.
Man, so everybody in this universe apparently can't drive little hover ship things. As the pirate guy is trying to like give them a
Give a
tour.
tour.
Yeah,
Of the facility.
he's driving this
He
little
is
hover ball,
flying
hover
around
saucer
those
thing.
corners.
Just runs into all of the walls on the way down.
His partner guy, who's like some bug that talks in a goofy voice.
Oh, those voices.
So they're like driving crazy, and 3PO is like, whoa, and then he says, wait, it gets better. And then they start like purposely bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, that bug has this ridiculous.
Cartoon voice. Yeah.
And the other pirate guys talks like, "Wait, let me show you around."
He's like got an actual frog in his throat.
I don't know. And R2 is still a bad driver too. That makes me laugh every time. He's the one that got them hit by a comet.
I know.
That's right.
So that's why they get caught by these guys.
Mungo says, "Don't worry, 3PO. R2 will get us through this asteroid field," and then they just immediately get hit by a comet. I mean, how could you see that coming? You know?
Well, 3PO should say, "I have ridden with this droid before. You do not want him at the wheel."
Yeah, so while they're giving their tour, the actual Imperial emissaries with
Right.
Admiral Screed shows up, and then their cover's blown.
Yeah,
They just kind of sneak away, but that does not work out. Like whenever they ever just escaped in this show, never.
Nope.
No.
They always run around for an extended period of time to draw out the runtime, and then they get captured.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been keeping a tally, but I think it's literally every episode.
Yeah.
I hope they keep it up. At this point, there's only like 3 episodes left. Let's keep this run going, you guys.
But we get to see some tribbles,
Right.
And they totally are. They're called Mupples.
Yeah.
like Muppets, but Mupples.
Yeah, just like little furball creatures. I don't know. And I don't even know what they're doing there. Like they caught them at the station somehow.
Well, these pirates
They like
are just like taking everything. They set up a false beacon that's luring ships that they're plundering. But he says that the Mupples are like a delicacy, apparently, to somebody.
Oh, I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
They seem a little hairy to eat. But in one of the other cages is Noop. Old man Noop.
It's just some crazy old man.
He used to run this station
Right.
until the pirates took it over.
But yeah, he's basically just a crazy old man.
It's just a crazy old wizard.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a nice...
You mean old Noop?
Oh yeah, classic old Noop.
Noopy Wan Canoopy.
So they capture them, and like this is like the closest C-3PO has probably ever gotten to actually being reprogrammed.
Seriously, he had the reprogramming
Yeah.
suction cup head thing on and everything.
Right.
Yeah, not clear on how that works, but...
Well, I feel like reprogramming a droid is pretty standard procedure, typically.
It happens a lot.
But like this is... The way that it's presented here is so sinister. It's like they're going to put him on some kind of torture machine. They put this big device over his head, like...
Right, like what they probably would really do is just shut him down,
Right.
replace a chip or something.
Yeah,
there
it's
you
like
go.
rebooting your computer.
Yep.
But this is if your computer had its own personality.
Right. Maybe it does.
A British accent.
Oh no, maybe we're wiping the computer's memory every
I'm
time.
never turning my computer off again.
Mungo is waking up after he gets knocked out. They throw him in the cage with the Mupples, and he's waking up on top of the pillow of Mupples, and he's like, "Oh yeah, oh that's
I know.
nice."
It's so creepy. And then he's like, "Wow, creepy Mupple things," and he like freaks out.
Get him off me!
Wakes
Get
up
it
and
off.
realizes he's actually covered in these fur balls.
But Noop is in the cage next to him, and he says, "No, this is how you get the Mupples off. You just gotta do a little whistle, and they all fall asleep." Like,
Surprise!
Obviously. Come on, guys.
it's weird, but it's canon.
Yeah. If a Mupple shows up in any of the new Star Wars movies, they'd better whistle to them to put them to sleep, or I am walking right out of that theater.
I can like almost guarantee you there will be no mention of Mupples
Ever.
ever again.
Well, I'm still waiting for our Porg TV show, but
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to get a letter writing campaign to get that on the air.
oh yeah,
Here we see R2 do his freak out again.
that's right.
That's like his only plan for rescuing people is to just shoot out all his gadgets and start screaming. He puts out a big smoke cloud and then runs into everybody and saves them all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But then I thought it was funny. So the stormtroopers are shooting their lasers at all these boxes that are in this storage room, and apparently they're full of Nergon 14.
Yeah, some of it is.
It's the explosive mineral from
The previous
From
episode.
that old West planet.
Yeah,
yeah.
which was great.
From the Lost
Apparently,
Prince.
the element, the letter element for Nergon 14 is ZZ.
That's the elemental symbol. Nice. That works.
So all the Nergons is falling and exploding. And so how do they get out of here? They hook up
Right,
R2
how are they going to get out
as
of
a
here?
bobsled. And he takes off
R2,
going so slow. Like they can run faster. They've been
pulls-
running faster than he's pulling them.
He just drags this thing across the floor.
I somehow missed that. R2 is like hitched up to this thing like a horse pulling them in a way.
Yeah, it's so slow, and there's explosions going off all around. It's like, run for your lives! What are you doing? None of you are incapable of running out of this place.
So everything's gonna explode, and the bad guys are like, well, we better steal Mungo's ship because it's fast. And so then they're like, oh, our ship's gone, we better steal their ship.
Yep.
I don't know, it doesn't really factor into the story in any way. They just leave with the opposite ships they came in.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
Maybe the next episode does.
I don't know. I thought it was gonna lead to something, but it didn't.
Mungo does say that. So at the end of the episode, they find out where the Roon system is. Noop tells them where it is. And Mungo says that they have to go to the system now because the ship that they're in could never take them back. Or it doesn't have enough fuel or something.
Oh, oops.
So I don't know.
How was Admiral Screed planning to get
exactly.
back? Huh? Whatever.
Well, actually, I wonder if what he took was just a shuttle, and the shuttle had come from Screed's demolisher.
Man, if you look at that ship, though, it looks, the one that they escape on, looks very similar to a VT-49 Decimator.
Okay.
Okay.
Which is, it's a heavily armored Imperial transport.
That's too much car talk for me.
Yeah, well, I thought
keep
we
track of
already
that.
changed the station here. What are you
It's a
doing?
VT-49 transport, standard length, 38 meters, with a maximum atmospheric speed of 975 kilometers per hour. I mean, this sucker's packing a Class 1 backup, Class 12, hyperdrive on this system with a good old-fashioned Navicomputer.
Wow.
Of course, this thing's packed forward with quad laser cannon turrets, 2 of them, of course, linked, and twin concussion missile launchers.
I gotta get one of those.
Just in case you run into any unruly pirates out there. Minimum crew of 2 with passengers of 6. It's got a cargo capacity of 80 tons and consumables on board for up to 1 month.
Cody looked up the specs.
I am actually. I'm just reading off the spec list.
I thought you were just making this up. I was impressed. I didn't even want to interrupt. I just want to see how long you can keep this going.
Oh, not even making it up. That's just off the top of his head. That's how well he knows his stuff.
All right. Then I'm also impressed.
Yeah,
Is it just like a transport vehicle, or is it a ship?
it's a ship, but it was
Okay.
used for some troop transport, but it's
Well,
still
I
got
mean-
some good guns on it.
Because that's what they're on, right? He says that they can't go very far.
It looks very similar to
Oh,
that.
I see what
I mean,
you're
you
saying.
can just Google VT-49 Decimator.
Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that.
All right, so these mupples are kind of a running joke. They keep like being on top of people like hair.
Yeah, every shot of 3PO here, he's got different kind of mupple hair.
The end scene, the little joke at the end, 3PO opens up a hatch like above him, and
Yep.
a pile of mupples falls on him.
Oh, it's straight out of Star Trek.
Yeah. The Trouble with Tribbles ends with like almost the exact same shot and everything. Kirk is opening up a hatch and all these tribbles fall on him and he's sitting in a pile. I think it has to be
Oh yeah.
a reference to that.
Oh yeah. It's great.
Yeah, it's funny.
And if anybody out there has not seen the Tribbles episode in Star Trek, man, you're missing out. You should go watch it.
Yeah, we shouldn't be recommending Star Trek though on a Star Wars
know,
podcast.
They can coexist peacefully.
That's Search for the Roon.
And that is the Trouble with Tribbles. Join us next time. On the
Tale of the Roon Comet.
That's right. And the next one is called The Roon Games.
Wow.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add?
I liked this one. It was great.
No, it was
Yeah.
good. It was cool to see the Empire, in this
Right.
too.
I think that grounds it a little bit more in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it fits in, to actually be that. And I don't know, it feels more Star Wars to be being chased by the Empire all the time. And stormtroopers are actually the enemy and stuff. It's good.
Yeah, for the most part, this was a pretty fun one.
And you have an actual villain who feels like threatening.
And competent.
Right, not just like the From gang.
Tiggy.
Yeah.
Don't be like Tiggy.
Always wear your seatbelts. Don't be like Tiggy.
That's right.
Yes, and Screed's pretty cool. I feel like he didn't really do a lot in this episode, but he seems cool. Maybe he's in the next one. Alright, so next time we'll be watching the Roon games. So come play those Roon games with us.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds fun. Who'd
Yeah.
you say was cool before?
Screed.
Yeah, Screed is cool.
Screed is cool.
What a way to end it.
Bye.
Bye.